Hello, welcome to another episode of Free Gift Friday, where we bring you something for free on Fridays related to streamlining and optimizing your business. Today, I have the beautiful Christine McKay with us. She's going to be one of our $1 million network connections for all of you, and as always, we'll give you some free gifts at the end. So let Christine introduce herself. So why don't you tell our viewers who you are and what you do? What's your lane of genius?
Hi, everyone. It's awesome to be here. And I'm actually obviously physically here with Melanie, and that's amazing. So it's great to see her after all these months. So I am a global negotiation strategist and the CEO of Venn Negotiation. We help small businesses negotiate more effectively. We teach you how to ask for more of what you want, and then we show you the tools and the techniques to actually negotiate for it.
Awesome. So it's not a podcast. What this what this free video is for our viewers is to teach them how they can streamline and optimize their business, how they can reach maximum profits in the most streamlined way. So what's your advice to our viewers in your lane of genius on how they can use negotiating to get to those higher profits faster?
So the first thing is really know and have great clarity around what it is that you actually want. That actually sounds simple, but very few people can come up with an exhaustive list of the things that they want. Once you know what you want, you have to know how important it is to you, because if you don't understand that, then you might actually give something away that's important in exchange for something that's not so important. So you really need to know what you want and why you want it, why it's important. And that is something that people don't do very well at all. They think in terms of generalities. They think negotiation is about money, and it's really about a lot more than just that. And so having clarity around what you want is a huge thing. The second thing is knowing how you're going to ask for it. And if you that comes down to how you communicate, your kind of a communication attribute, your negotiation styles, yours as well as your counterparts. That becomes important, because if you have kids, then if you ever were a child, then you actually know that you used to be really good at negotiating and getting stuff that you wanted when you were a parent. And if you do happen to have kids, you know that your kids are very good negotiators. And so we all have all these skills and these attributes, but we don't know how to use them effectively. So one of the things that people can do to optimize is just pay closer attention and ask with intent and know how they are doing that. And then the third thing to really optimize their business from a negotiation perspective is make sure you get what you were told you were going to be given, and make sure you're giving what you told your counterpart you were going to give to them. And you do that through formal and informal contracts. You do it through having an annual review process to make sure that the deal is still working for both parties. And you have a policy of renegotiation, so that if the deal's not working for you or your counterpart, you can renegotiate and have a different conversation.
Okay, so I heard a lot in there.
Yes.
The first point in asking for what you want, this seems so easy and intuitive. Every year around this time, around Thanksgiving, my mom asks me for my Christmas list, and I'm always like, I don't know what I want.
Right?
So I get it. Like that, knowing what you want, especially in business, could be really hard. So that's a good brainstorming exercise for people to do to understand.
It is. And if you're in the middle of a negotiation with a landlord or a customer or supplier, just take some time and just write down what that exhaustive list is. You might be buying a car for, who knows, maybe you're buying a car for somebody for Christmas. I did that once for my husband. It was a lot of fun. But just have that exhaustive list so that you know what you're looking for and you can articulate it, because your counterpart can't read your mind. It's very inefficient in negotiation to expect your counterpart, whether that is a business or your spouse or partner or your kids, to read your mind. We don't work that way.
Right. And so that leads us into the second point where you said the best negotiators are actually kids, right? So, how many times is your kid asking you to read them another book before they go to sleep, or some ice cream, or whatever the case may be. But really, this is about communication and asking for it, not being afraid to say no.
Correct.
Not being afraid to ask for what you want.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's all really good information. But of course, you have to know what you want before you can ask for it. And then the third point is to actually get what you agreed that you would get.
Exactly.
And that goes both ways.
That's right.
Yeah. So this is really important concept in business in general, because we always talk about the serving, of getting leads in the database, closing them by selling them products and services. But what Christina is talking about is, this is like delivering on your word, right? And how, where's your sense of integrity there? So making sure both parties have that sense of integrity of delivering on what they agreed to.
Exactly. And if you believe in a customer for a lifetime, then you want to make sure you're doing that, and that you have dialogue continually to address things that come up when you might not be doing something in integrity and it's largely unintentional, or when they're not behaving with integrity based on what you had agreed. So it's negotiation is a relationship. And so it's no different than any other relationship. It requires care and feeding.
Yeah. And just like in relationships, there's a lot of negotiating that's going on for compromise, coming to terms with not having it all your way.
Yep.
And really, I like the other point that you made of knowing what you care about, know what's important to you, because negotiation isn't just about money.
That is absolutely correct. I say often that money should be an output of negotiation, not an input. So there are all sorts of things that drive the economics of a negotiation, and it's those things that should be negotiated, because then once you get to price, then all the hard discussion actually has already happened, and the price becomes just an output of the things you've already agreed to, and it becomes much harder to argue with it.
Yeah. And you brought up the car example. Is like salesmen are actually really good about this, because before they ask you your budget, they ask you what features you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So great examples.
Yeah.
All right. So then we always have our guests. This is one of the requirements that when they come on, they offer something for free. And I know you have fantastic gifts that allow people to work on this communication internally as well as externally, and really learn more about your topic. So what would you like to give our audience?
So if the viewers text negotiate to 26786, they'll get to take a quiz to learn what their default negotiation style is, and you'll learn more about that. And you'll also get our guide, which is the 7 key success elements for a successful negotiation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here.
Yeah, it's been such a pleasure to have you. And you've given such valuable information to the viewers. So hopefully you've all found this valuable. I will put what Christine said in the description of how to get in touch with her, of how to get her free gifts. And also I'll throw in there her YouTube channel so you can see the other default negotiation styles, so that if you are in a negotiation, you can extrapolate what your counterpart's default negotiation style is, which in these free gifts, you'll learn how important that is.
Yes, exactly.
So if you like this episode or any of our episodes and you'd like to be notified when we release something else for free, please subscribe below and hit the little bell to remind you when we drop something for free. In the meantime, I just say farewell to all of you. We're learning French together, so what is
Au revoir, à bientôt.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.